Welcome back to Beyond Dafeet. My name's Josh, and in today's video we're taking our first run in the Asics Novablast FF. So after the first run in the Novabalst FF, I'm quite happy with this shoe. It's very comfortable on the foot, very soft and quite spongy overall, and gives you that nice bounce back every time you take a step. We're running with a 32 to 22 offset, so you got that 10mm drop. Does push you towards your forefoot a little bit more, and is one of the highest stack heights from Asics that they have kind of dropped recently anyways. This is a neutral running shoe, so if you have a high arch or you go to roll out, this shoe will work quite nicely for you. However, if you do go to roll in or pronate, this shoe will not work at all. Because it has such a soft midsole and it is really spongy, you'll pretty much just collapse the inside of the shoe. Same if you're a bigger person. If you probably weigh over 80-85 kilos, I would not recommend this shoe for you. However, if you're slightly lighter than that and you got a neutral foot, this shoe will work awesome. So what distances would you run in this shoe? Anything kind of from that 5 kilometers all the way up even to that marathon, I reckon. The shoe is very soft and responsive overall. How long that's going to last is another thing though. So the Asics Novablast FF is their new shoe with their new cushioning system that they are going to start bringing into the market. We're looking at that Blast FF cushioning. This is Asics' most bouncy soft cushioning yet, more responsive than say a FLYTEFOAM, and it definitely does feel a bit more spongy. Feels like that Clifton 3. Quite spongy underfoot, but you still do get that nice bounce back. Initially I thought that I'd sink into the shoe and not be able to kind of propel forward. However, with that 10mm pitch, it does work quite nicely. If we look at the outer sole in the Novabalst FF, in this shoe they're using Asics' new AHA Plus, which is supposed to be 50% more durable. It's wrapping around the lateral side and also the medial side, linking up all the way through the shoe, which should work quite nicely. And they've also put that little bit of rubber in that forefoot area. Asics said that this is supposed to act like that trampoline effect where they've left that exposed rubber in the middle there. If that's going to work or not's another thing, and the 50% more durable rubber just probably takes it up to the standard of everyone else's rubber. Because Asics did use that air-blown rubber where people were just kind of chewing through, I think this AR Plus will work a little bit better and should be fairly durable overall. Moving on to your midsole. As I said, the midsole in the Novabalst is featuring the new Blast FF cushioning, which is probably Asics' most bouncy soft cushioning they have done so far, and there's a ton of it. They've got 32mm at the heel and 22mm at the forefoot, which does make it quite soft and plush underfoot. This shoe definitely does feel a lot less stable than say a Nimbus or a Nimbus Lite, because there is no trussic in that middle area. So it is a much more flexible shoe, and it is what a neutral plush cushion shoe should feel like. It's very soft, you sink into the shoe quite nicely, and overall I like the feel of this midsole. They got this nice kind of engineering wrapping around the back here, these different lines, modern design, and it looks cool. Something a little bit different. The midsole actually comes out a lot further than where the shoe is, so I think they've done that to give you that added stability at the heel. However, as I said, the shoe is not very stable at all. It is very soft, plush, cushioned. It is very flexible as a result. Looking at the upper in this shoe, I love the overall fit and feel. Hugs the foot really nicely, and the heel counter on the shoe works great. Your foot sits nice and deep into that shoe. Nice semi-padded heel counter and collar wrapping around. Nothing too much, so it doesn't feel like you got too much shoe on the foot. It does still kind of lock you in quite nicely. The lacing works quite nice. It locks you down really well, and they do give you that option to be able to lock lace it as well. The lacing they've done is quite thin. I think that works well for some people. If you have quite a high midfoot area, you might feel like it digs in slightly, but with that nice padded tongue, it tends to work quite well. The upper overall is an engineered upper, 3D design wrapping around that forefoot as well as the midfoot. That's going to lock you in quite nicely, and then you got that underlayer mesh underneath that. So pretty much an engineered jacquard mesh, which does work quite nice wrapping around. Overall, the fit, it's a true to size fit, so I took a size 9 US in this, and I tend to take that most of the time as well. At your $230, it's a great shoe. But where does it sit in like Asics range? Because they've done so many neutral shoes lately, it's kind of hard to pick whether you should go this, or the Glide Ride, or the Meta Ride, or the Nimbus Lite, because there is so many different ones. It just kind of sits on its own. You got your Meta Ride up the top, your Glide Ride in the middle, your Evo Ride underneath that, and then you got kind of a separate category of your Nimbus, Nimbus Lite, Cumulus, and goes on from there. This sits all on its own pretty much. It's a much softer, bouncy shoe than all those ones I just named. If you want something a bit more responsive, then I'd be looking towards the Nimbus Lite. If you want a bit more of that rocker feel, I'd be looking towards a Glide Ride. But if you want that nice spongy feel on the foot that's really bouncy, you're not too concerned about durability, because I do think this will kind of compress quite fast, then by all means pick this up. At your $230 mark, competes quite nicely up against other shoes on the market, and overall Asics have pretty much hit the nail on the head with this one. If you have any other questions, or you want me to compare it to a Nimbus or some other Asics shoes or other shoes on the market, hit us up in the comments, and make sure you smash that like, turn on the sub button, and we'll see you next time.